What's up everybody, Austin here from Make Pop Music and Austin Hole Audio and Visual, and we are back with another tutorial. I know we've been away for a couple weeks. If you saw on our socials, my wife and I have actually been in the process of buying our first house, and we are officially all moved in now. It has been a long process, but we're super excited it's over, which means we're back to weekly content for you guys, so thank you so much for your patience during that delay. We hope you've all been staying happy and healthy, especially with everything that's going on. But let's go ahead and chat about why we're here today. I see the question pop up a ton in our comments below. I see it happen a lot on our Facebook group, and I run into this issue with a lot of the artists that I'm working with that will be going to a studio or tracking themselves away from me, and that is, how do you write vocal harmonies? So I know that this can be a super daunting task if you don't have a lot of music theory knowledge, or if you're not used to kind of singing in a choir where you have harmony sections that you're responsible for. So I wanted to show you a couple different methods and techniques that I like to use to A, find the harmony, and B, demonstrate that harmony for yourself or for an artist who actually needs to perform that. So we're gonna go over a couple different methods from my most used to some that I rarely use. However, these will all use little to no music theory experience, and I think that they'll be relatively easy for you to actually add to your arsenal in order to kind of figure out where you're gonna start adding vocal harmonies. Vocal harmonies are essential in pop production. You definitely are going to want that big, stacked, full, tons of vocals happening kind of sound in your choruses. So if you're not adding harmonies, hopefully this video can kind of help you start sliding those into your productions, because it definitely will help take them to the next level. But without further ado, let's actually hop into the session and I'll show you guys exactly what you can do to find those vocal harmonies. All right, so now we're in the session. What I'm going to do is I'll show you the vocal that we already have. This is just a demo scratch vocal for this song. I think we've probably covered the song before on the channel. But it's just a demo that I'm working on, so this will be perfect for us to kind of add those harmonies, because then I can actually go in and track them later. So here's the lead vocal.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning, and we had too much to drink without any warning. You start dancing around my room, your clothes on the floor, and I can't say no.
So there's the lead vocal. So what I'm gonna do to find that first harmony is I'm going to actually duplicate this, and I'll go ahead and delete all these other vocals because I don't really need those. And then let's go back into here, and I'm gonna highlight these, and I am gonna go ahead and convert them to a copy. That way we're not dealing with the issue of it's not changing this as soon as we start changing the pitch. So what you'll need for this first method is either Very Audio or Flex Tune or Waves Tune, Auto Tune Pro, Melodyne, anything that you have a kind of graphical pitch tuning, that would be perfect. Because what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna hop into the grid and we're gonna start changing the melody so you can actually have kind of a rough template for what you wanna do. So let's see, let's go to Functions, Convert to Real Copy. Cool. So let's click on this first one. All right, so here's the lead, as it is.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning, and we had too much to drink with.
So, without any music theory knowledge, I can already see that we have a bit of a pattern here. I'm not even gonna kind of hop into scales or chords or notes or anything like that for now, because I want this to be as basic as possible so anybody can kind of follow along. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take this and I like to start from highest to lowest and just take it up a few. So let's try 3.
Knocking at my door at 4.
Now let's go ahead and take these up a couple. Let's take these up a couple. So now we've got, let's try something like this.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
Now let's hear that with that lead.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
You could take this one up.
Come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
Let's hear in the context of it.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
So there's one automatically. You could even take this up a couple more. Let's try it right here. Let's try this right here. Let's try this right here.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
And these are all working in the scale. You'll quickly notice if you're out of key. Let's just do one that's out of key real quick.
Knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
You can hear it immediately. So basically all you need to do is copy over that vocal and then just start dragging them. So that was with no theory knowledge. It will take a little bit of trial and error and kind of guessing work if you don't at least know what key the song is in. But if you have the key, like I already have the key set right here on auto tune, we're in B major. So all I need to do now is figure out what notes I want to use within B major, and then any of those should actually work as a harmony. So B major would give me B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, or B flat, and then B. So we've got all of those to work with. We could literally go as drastic as we want. We could go right here onto the B flat. We could use this right here. Let's try this.
Knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
Let's try this.
Come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning. And we had knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
So once you kind of figure out what you want to do with that harmony, dragging and dropping and kind of replacing that, then that's where you're going to actually go in and track that. So I would never leave this as a harmony in the song. What I would probably do is I would mute that main vocal, you know, put on my mic and then just kind of sing along to this.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
Because this is going to have a lot of artifacts and just weird noises, especially if you're pitching it up or down a ton. But I do think this is a really, really good method for you to find at least what keys and what chords you want to make. And then you could easily duplicate this whole thing again and then convert this whole thing to a real copy again and then go nuts. Like, you don't have to just stop. You could easily, let's take this here.
Door at 4 in the morning, and
here's all of them together.
You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
So there you go. We've just created a 2-part vocal harmony. You could even kind of drag everything to one line so you have more of a static vocal harmony. Like Charlie Puth will do this a ton, where he'll have something just kind of sit on, you know, like the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th of the actual root chord. That's not kind of going back and forth, and that just really gives it that kind of like vocoder, like 90s Boys to Men sound.
Come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
Let's take this up a little bit so I can kind of show you what I mean.
Knocking at my door at 4 in the morning. You come knocking at my door at 4 in the morning.
However, that feels a little static for me because this melody is pretty simple, and I think that we could easily have a harmony like that kind of go back and forth very, very easily. So I am going to go ahead and remove those. We don't need those for now. So tip 1 is going to be copy that vocal, make it a real copy so you can actually go in, and then go in with whatever graphical kind of tuning element that you have and just drag it along the scale. If you know the scale, perfect. If you don't, just give it some trial and error. And, you know, there's probably tons of things online that you can kind of put the chords that you use or the notes on the piano that you use, and it'll kind of spit out a just kind of general rough key. So if you have a rough key, that would help a ton. If you don't, sorry, you're going to have to spend probably an extra 5 minutes. But it's a good way to actually try it out and see what it's going to sound like without, you know, kind of tracking a million different things and then knowing if what you tracked was even right in the first place. So the next thing that we're going to do is, this will actually require a little bit of theory, and this is going to be just kind of going back to the kind of root scale that we talked about and looking at the notes right here. So you've got your main melody, and the way that I can kind of put this, and you've probably heard this with harmonies, is people talk about thirds, people talk about fifths, people talk about octaves. So we're basically just going to cover thirds and fifths because those are probably the easiest to follow. And so I'm looking at this melody right here, and it's looking like we're on the D sharp, we're on the C sharp, and we're on the B. So we're on 3, 2, and 1 of this B major scale. So let me pull out a piano, and I'll go ahead and kind of demonstrate what you can do if you don't have a DAW in front of you. So say you're writing a song on a guitar, or say you like to play piano and you're not a producer, but you're still trying to figure out that harmony to actually write along. Let's go ahead and just talk about how you can easily kind of find those melodies. The main melody is So it's just, so we know what the main melody is and we know that it's in B major. So we've got 3, 2, and 1. So basically all we're going to do is figure out what the fifth of that chord is, which is basically if you play, you know, a B, that fifth is going to be right there. It's going to be that F sharp. So if you want a fifth harmony, all you need to do is go up a fifth from whatever note you're on. So if we know that we're on this D sharp right here, all we're going to do is go to that B flat. So now you found your fifth. Let's say you want to add in that third. All you're going to do is make that a triad. That right there is going to be your third for that D sharp, which is just F sharp. If you have a piano or a guitar handy and you know your general thirds and fifths, all you have to do, find the root note of that melody, put a fifth to it, put a third to it. So we talked about how to actually find the harmony in terms of going on the actual vocal tuning program and just kind of taking everything up and down to seeing where you can find all the missing pieces. We talked about how to actually take the root note of a melody and then just figure out a harmony by making that a third and a fifth chord. And now, if you already have those and you're just kind of wondering what harmonies to add, there are a million different options you can do. You can have the third and the fifth that will kind of go up and down the lead melody. You can have them stay static, as we kind of talked about before. You can introduce octaves below and under, which are not technically a harmony, they're technically unison, but they do a lot to kind of thicken it up. So if I was going to do something like a full extended chorus, I would have my lead melody, I would have an octave lower, I would have an octave higher, I would probably do some kind of fifth, and then occasionally I would sprinkle in some kind of like third or seventh or something like that to kind of just give it a little bit of extra flavor. And if I wanted to do something beyond that and kind of just make that harmony stand out outside of the melody, like say you want something that's going to shine a little bit of light on, you know, a harmony section, like a call and response, then you can kind of extend out of those typical thirds, fifths, and sevenths, and you can kind of create extended chords with your vocals. So don't be afraid to try everything. There are a billion different opportunities for you to actually go in and make these harmony sections and these big vocal stacks completely unique and completely your own. And if you're able to kind of hop in your DAW or on a piano and really see at least a basic scale, I think that you don't need much theory beyond that. So basically just find the basic scale of your song, figure out what notes are in that scale, and then just go haywire with kind of, you know, playing around and seeing which notes that you want to put in your section over top of your lead melody. And that's it. As you can see, there are a million ways to find those harmonies, and there are a million different harmonies that you can do. You can have thirds, fifths, sevenths, octave up, octave downs. You can have harmonies that kind of go with the melody. You can have static harmonies that just stay on one note. So don't be afraid to experiment, especially if you're going to do the vocal copy trick, where you can just try a million different things before you actually go in and track them. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. If you like this, like, comment, and subscribe. We definitely appreciate it. If you want to support us, head over to our website, makepopmusic.com. That's where we sell all of our samples, presets, courses. We've got blog posts on there written by us and the community members. Definitely head over there because there is a ton of good stuff. But as for now, that's going to do it for this video. We will see you guys next week. Much love, everybody. Stay safe. Peace out.
I don't wanna wait if what's done is done.